This is the fourth and final stop on the National Walleye Tour. And the Sioux represents the last chance to be one of the top 40 to qualify for the year-end championship.
We found them. And like, I don't make that declaration much. That is what we're looking for.
Water to cover all this water.
John needs just 17:04 to take over the lead.
26:32, John Hoyer takes over the lead.
In 2019, John didn't win the Sioux event. He took second to David Kolb. But it's not hyperbole to say that he rewrote the books on catching walleyes at the Sioux.
It's game time.
With his casting and snapping the Berkeley power bait, the Champ swim bait through cabbage, he basically opened up a whole new avenue for how to fish aggressively, how to use a musky style and make walleyes react to what you're doing. And believe me, people are trying to emulate that exact pattern this year.
We're here. Tour level gold. We are officially in our 5th day of practice. Our current state of affairs here at Sault Ste. Marie is kind of cautiously optimistic, and most of that is from where I was fishing the first couple days. Caught some definite tournament grade fish. Those zones that I found were so valuable that I've really just left them alone. So the last 4 days I've been trying to find other stuff that could be better, but in reality they've all been worse. So that's where that cautiously optimistic thing comes from. I'm hoping and I'm praying that my decision to stay out of that area to save those bites is the right decision, because honestly it's like literally a needle in a haystack out here. I found out right away that the normal aggressive technique I usually use in the cabbage hasn't really been working, but the water's slowly warming, and I'm definitely going to be trying some, aggressive stuff like I did on Lake Erie.
How does one even begin to fathom how to break all this down?
Oh man. Going off of 2019, I originally started by trolling around weed beds because it just made sense. I knew fish were caught in the weeds here. And then it progressed to whoa, all these fish are actually darting out of these cabbage stalks and eating my flicker minnow as I troll by closely. Then the light bulb went off and I threw a half-ounce jig and a champ swimmer into that cabbage bed, and lo and behold, now I'm catching big ones, you know, not at will ever here, but consistently.
Ah, yeah, that's a walleye. Sault Ste. Marie special right there. But hey, we caught one. There you go, we can go in now. Okay, so these walleyes right here are the ones that we hope all the competition brings in right here. Because the ones that we've been catching periodically could eat this one head first. We got two. This is a banner day. It's one of the day where we've had the same catch rate we've had everywhere else in this lake, except where I plan on fishing the tournament. We have a day and a half left to find something glaringly obvious that I should be fishing. I think the definition of insanity is if you keep doing the same thing and expect different results. That's what we've done the last 3 days. So we're gonna go maybe swing for it, we'll see.
When someone says Sault Ste. Marie, like what pops in your head? Like what are you thinking?
Redemption. That's the number one thing in my mind.
So in 2019, Max was on a pretty strong trolling pattern at the Soo, and he had a pretty productive first day and struggled on day 2, which cost him Angler of the Year. The next season, similar situation, but now Max has forward-facing sonar. Has a super strong day 1, again fails to bring in a limit on day 2, and can't believe that he didn't catch him.
Was that ball?
Yeah, I don't think it was a walleye, but making a little bit. And that's the thing though, you can't really panic with this bite. You just stay on fish, and they're down there, they're not going nowhere.
When practice starts, Max goes right back to his areas in the Detour Village, the same spots that he found some success in 2020.
I come around the corner and I look in exactly the same spot as 3 years ago. There was a pack of like 40. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So I threw the swim bait in there and I snapped it. And all of a sudden it was like second hop, boom, I set the hook and I'm like, okay, this is a good one. And it comes up and it's a 7 hop. And then the next day I went out and I checked the last few spots that I needed to down by Detour, and I'm like, every spot has fish on it.
Having said that, he also knows in the back of his mind that these areas are going to receive pressure. So the game is always, I think I can catch fish here, but I gotta find something else.
And I look at my map, I'm like, and I'm just looking, because like the way my mind works is I recognize patterns pretty easy. And I look at what I caught fish on and I try and find something similar. And I look and I see something that catches my eye. And it's a bunch of structure that's similar to what I'm fishing. It was like 4 hours I spent. Didn't see a fish, didn't mark a fish, nothing. But I'm doing my due diligence and looking at everyone, because you never know when you're gonna pop up on one. Isaac calls me. He's like, do you have any food? And I'm like, no, I forgot food too. And he goes, dang it, I'm dying. And I'm like, yeah, me too. We hang up the phone, and all of a sudden I remember, I'm like, oh, I have Pop-Tarts in my boat from Montana. So I tear my boat apart and I find a box of Pop-Tarts. And I call Isaac, I'm like, dude, I got Pop-Tarts. And as he's pulling up to me, I turn, and I'll never forget it, I turn the boat, just to like straighten the boat, to like prepare for him to come. And I turn and I see a school of about 40 of them. And I'm like, those are walleyes. Like I finally saw some walleyes. So he starts driving up. I told him, so I'm just gonna go check this hump right here and see if there's any fish on it, because I saw fish on it. And so I'm driving around, all of a sudden I see this school, and I pitch a jig wrap up into it, and it doesn't even hit bottom, and I have a 6 pounder. And I'm like, as I'm reeling this fish in, I'm trying to call Isaac. He's not answering, because he never does. And I'm casting, reeling fish in every cast, one after another. I'm trying to understand like the size that I found, because one of them was like a little 3 pounder. Finally he answers, I said, you need to get back here. I said, I found him. I said, I found the winning fish, because it was like 30 pounds and like 6 casts. And I said, we need to break this down because there's 1,000 little, tiny things that we're fishing, and I couldn't break it all down by myself. He comes back, and I told him, I said, all right, you take this section, I'll take this section, we'll go from there. And he calls me 5 minutes later, he goes, I just caught a 10-pounder. And I went, we found him. And like, I don't make that declaration much.
We're currently searching for unicorns, and we haven't found any. I'm starting to wonder if they even exist on this fishery. I'm kind of honestly just hitting my head against the wall here, trying to find something, wishing that the tournament would start now. We just found a really cool new spot, and yeah, it's pretty much got everything you've ever heard somebody say about a spot. It's got a break wall, it's got a current seam, it's got warm water, it's got rock, it's got sand, it has deep water access, and it also has weeds. So possible third walleye here. It's definitely walleye. Biggest one of the day. Hello, 3.5, 3¾ pounder. Literally the hardest thing in the Great Lakes is just simply finding them, but that was fun at the end. Had a little glimmer of hope.
Oh my God, I hate this here so much. I just blew a prop. Oh my God. Well, we got a long way back to the Dude, I can't. Normally something like that, especially not having a kicker, would spin me out. And I just laughed. I went, that sucks. Like, I just got that prop. And Adam looks at me and goes, you're weirdly calm about that. And I said, I found the winning fish. They're there. And I said, it's fine. The whole way we idled back, I just had the motor, the boat idling upriver. I'm retying mine. I'm tying for the tournament on Tuesday.
'Cause your walls are falling down.
What? I got good news. I got goldfish.
Try to chase down the light. Feels like time.
Gravelly pea gravel rock instead of that giant chunk slate rock that we were dealing with up there. That's where the fish were. I mean, this is exactly where I found them yesterday. I don't know. Like a 6-pounder. It's a stud. Oh, dude, he's got a lamprey on his belly. Look at him. Look at his belly. That's so cool. Ew. I don't like that. I don't want to touch that. Yeah, can I leave that on for extra weight? You go away. I saved your life, Mr. Walleye, from freaking Godzilla. That is what we're looking for. God, if I can get 5 of these. If I can get 5 of these. 7. It's a 7. I'll be back for you. Stay right here. Okay, now this thing. So basically what we're gonna have to do is we're just gonna have to get a whole new boat. It can have it. I'm not touching it. Ah, I don't like it. Ah! Ah! Get, yeah! No. No.
Bye. Okay, so yeah, so Max has been just a crazy little fishing savant before he could walk. It's just been fishing, fishing, fishing always as a kid.
We're putting it together. I just want to win this one. Just give me one. Dewey can't win them all. He's got to let us simpletons win one.
We'd take him to the zoo and he'd make a beeline for the fish house. He'd go straight to the Great Lakes one and he'd start rattling off the different fish. That's a northern pike, that's a walleye, that's a crappie, that's a bluegill. He was only 4. You know, he was in pre-K and he wanted to be a fish for Halloween. But if it was a choice, it was always fishing. Always, always fishing.
That's a 4-pounder. 3.5. That's the smallest fish I've caught up here in 2 days. And that's probably a 3.5. Let me get this one back. Stay. And cooperate.
My dad, his grandpa, he's talked about that. A lot of people have heard him talk about my dad. I was his fishing buddy, always. And and my dad was so happy to have a grandson who loved the same thing he did. And I mean, the two of them were just, you know, the quintessential grandpa and grandson.
That felt really weird. Really? Wow. Linda? Knock it off. Yeah, 6 on the dot.
As his mom, okay, hard for me to watch is the intensity of this career that he has chosen, and in particular the intensity when he had early success and was in the spotlight. He was really thrust into, you know, all of this in a huge way, and it's a lot to balance, and I don't think either of us saw coming A, the pressure, and B, what it's like to be kind of a public name where everyone has something to say.
Max is known as kind of a hyper-emotional individual, and he's even been really forthright about his battles with mental health. All of a sudden, after this practice, after finding this new group of fish, Max is unusually calm.
And you know, that next day, I didn't fish. I'm not gonna, like, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing. And honestly, the biggest thing was taking the mental side of things, you know, and for me, it's managing that side and sitting there and understanding that, you know, I have to be in it mentally. And I got my sleep. I got plenty of sleep. I got everything, clerical work. I got, you know, all the stuff done on the boat that I needed to. Charged every battery, like every little thing I got done Wednesday. And you know, it was a pre-fish where I was confident. I was very confident coming into it and excited, which is very rare. Normally I have an impending doom before a tournament. This was, I was like, okay, let's get out there and let's go have fun.
Alright, so unlike Lake Erie in the championship last year, where I showed up with about 2 jigs and 2 paddle tails, I brought the kitchen sink right here. So the pike have done some serious damage on our champ summer collection, but I brought reinforcements this time. Unscrew your terminals. You got a zip tie handy?
What's going on?
We're adding a new charger for you. You can't have that thing on board. Dustin has some trolling motor issues, and I've isolated the problem to his charger. They don't really make good 36-volt chargers. The chargers are behind the lithium batteries, so they don't have marine grade ones. But he's had one on his boat now for a couple months, and it's worked, and now it's starting to fail him. So I'm borrowing him a Dakota Lithium 36-volt charger. So they're doing some rewiring, and I'm talking smart from the neighboring
That's what's going on.
In 1 mile, turn left.
All right, I'm with Dwayne Gillum.
Dewey's fresh off a win at Francis Case. He's the hottest fisherman on tour right now. He's doing things that you could argue haven't been done before in the history of the National Walleye Tour. And now he's headed, with a Big Angler of the Year lead, he's headed to a fishery he's never been before. He's never seen the Sioux before. It's kind of intimidating, and he's kind of feeling the pressure.
The game plan today is the final day of practice, and the game plan today is basically just drive around and try to find a couple spots that, you know, at the end of the day, if we have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we can pull in and maybe catch 1 or 2 fish, even if they're just, you know, 18 inches or whatever, if we need one. Just because we're honestly not expecting to catch a bunch, so that extra 2-pounder at the end of the day might make all the difference in the world. So we're just going to try to find a couple spots that are on the way back to the launch, basically for backups for tomorrow.
So coming here after the win down on Francis Case, I was, you know, extremely excited. Never been here before. I know that my travel teammates John and Dusty both have a lot of history here. When you're looking at it on the map, you're like, you know, it looks big, but you feel like you can pick out a section of the lake and go break that down. And then when you actually get here and start looking at it, it's like, you know, I went and fished 10 islands today, and like you didn't even cover, like you didn't even do anything. Like that's how big it is. It's insanely big.
Dewey respects that casting game in the weeds is John's deal. So he's staying off that, letting John have that, and trying to scramble and find his own deal where he can be successful and find his own fish.
So I know that the fish were biting jig wraps. I know that they were biting, you know, swim baits, flukes, whatever. If you could find the fish, they were biting. The problem was that I never found a big concentration of fish.
Not bad. That little pack, not a bad fish. By 3 pounds, 22 incher maybe. Nice fish. Hopefully they're all twice as big as that tomorrow. Sweet color on that one. Put out and put the nets in my boat at midnight.
Choked. Look at that. It's stuck in him. He's stuck. T-boned it. Oh. I'll take 5 of those tomorrow. Next spot.
Owen's driving 22 hours from Montana to a very daunting body of water, one that he's never fished before. Being from Montana, he's probably never seen glacial lakes that are this clear, fish that are this spooky, and at times can be challenging.
I haven't had the best pre-fish, so that one I caught this morning was like my second cast, and I kind of figured out my jig cadence last night talking to the other guys, what I was doing wrong, and it clearly worked. So I already have a lot more confidence than I have all week.
Owen has salvaged his season at Francis Case, and he's sitting 43rd, right on the bubble to make the championship. So he's got to produce, and he's got to produce on a body of water that is brand new to him and is overwhelming in terms of its sheer size.
My main minimum goal is to make like top 45. I want to try to at least to get probably like 10, 12 pounds both days. At least get that. And if I get 15 plus pounds, I'll be very happy with my 2 days. I'm really just striving to get in the top 40 so I can make the championship. That's my main goal.
It's the night before the tournament, and Max is confident in his program, feeling good that he's found not just one area, but multiple areas, and he has this sense of calm about him that's unusual for Max. John is feeling the opposite. He's pleased that his 2019 fish in the weeds are still there, but he's super anxious in terms of how many other boats are going to fish that same spot. Will he have it to himself? Will there be company? Dewey's spinning out, not sure what to do, not sure where to go, and the pressure to keep that big Angler of the Year lead is mounting. Owen has found good fish, and he's just slowly but surely figuring out how to make them bite. Doesn't have all the confidence in the world, but he's around it.
Fish. What a bite.
Yes.
Got ourselves a 7-pounder. I think we did it.
With 5 fish to try and win this one. Max needs 24.8. He's got 33.3 right now. He needs 24.